Welcome to Celestial Zodiac. Sunday, August 9th to Saturday, August 15th, 2026 is one of the most powerful turning point weeks of August. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, bringing confidence back to our voices and encouraging us to speak up, think bigger, and express what we truly want. Leo season is already emphasizing courage, creativity, romance, and authenticity, but this week takes those themes to an entirely new level. Meanwhile, Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, shifting our motivation toward home, family, security, and the people and places we feel emotionally connected to. The biggest cosmic event arrives Wednesday with a powerful new moon total solar eclipse in Leo. Eclipses often represent turning points, and this one can open an important new chapter surrounding confidence, creativity, romance, personal identity, and following what genuinely makes us happy. Changes that begin around this eclipse may continue unfolding over the next several months, so don't feel pressured to have everything figured out immediately. Pay attention to unexpected opportunities, realizations, and situations that suddenly begin moving in a different direction. As the week continues, the intensity begins giving way to possibility. Communication improves, relationships receive support, and by Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter in Leo, encouraging optimism, bigger ideas, and renewed confidence about the future. The overall theme this week is bold new beginnings. Something may be changing, ending, or taking an unexpected turn, but that shift could be exactly what creates room for the next chapter of your life. Aries, this could be one of the most exciting weeks of your summer. Mercury enters fellow fire sign Leo, giving your confidence and creativity an immediate boost. You'll feel more comfortable expressing yourself, sharing your ideas, and going after what you want. Just watch the tendency to push too hard early in the week. Your enthusiasm is powerful, but you don't have to convince everyone to see things your way. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, shifting some of your attention toward home, family, and emotional security. You may suddenly feel motivated to tackle something around the house or deal with a family situation you've been avoiding. Emotions can run hotter than usual, so try not to turn a minor disagreement into World War III. The real headline arrives Wednesday with the solar eclipse in Leo, activating romance, creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. A new relationship, creative project, hobby, or opportunity to put yourself in the spotlight could begin developing now. This eclipse asks a simple question: what actually makes you happy? Pay attention to what excites you, because it could point toward an important new chapter. By Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter in Leo, ending the week on an optimistic note. Big ideas, encouraging news, or an exciting conversation could leave you feeling like the future just opened up. Follow your enthusiasm, Aries. This week is reminding you that life isn't supposed to be all work and responsibility. Sometimes following your joy is exactly what moves you forward. Taurus, this week could bring an important turning point involving your home, family, or sense of security. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, encouraging conversations about where you live, the people closest to you, or changes you've been considering behind the scenes. Something you've been thinking about privately may finally need to be discussed. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, giving your words considerably more force. You'll be motivated to make decisions, handle paperwork, learn something new, or finally have a conversation you've been putting off. Just remember that being right and being understood aren't always the same thing. A softer approach may accomplish much more. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo puts your home and family life directly under the cosmic spotlight. Over the coming months, you could experience changes involving your living situation, family relationships, or the foundation you're building for your future. Some Tauruses may consider moving, renovating, reorganizing their household, or redefining what emotional security really means. You don't need to make every decision immediately. Eclipses often reveal their story gradually. By the weekend, things begin looking considerably more hopeful. Mercury joining Jupiter can bring encouraging news, productive family discussions, or a bigger vision for what you want your future to look like. Taurus, this week isn't about disrupting your security. It's about creating a foundation that fits the person you're becoming. Gemini, your mind is moving a mile a minute this week, and for once that may work in your favor. Mercury, your ruling planet, enters Leo on Sunday, making you more confident, expressive, and persuasive. Writing, speaking, networking, learning, social media, and important conversations are especially highlighted. People are listening, so make sure you're saying what you actually mean. Mars leaves your sign and enters Cancer on Tuesday, shifting your drive toward money, income, and financial security. After weeks of running in a dozen directions at once, you're ready to turn some of that energy into something tangible. You may become more motivated to earn additional income, negotiate your value, or finally get serious about a financial goal. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo could bring an important new beginning involving communication, education, technology, travel, or the people in your immediate environment. A conversation, message, idea, class, project, or new connection could eventually lead somewhere much bigger than you initially expect. Keep your eyes and ears open. Information arriving around this eclipse may be more important than it first appears. By Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter, and your natural optimism comes roaring back. You could receive good news, discover an exciting opportunity, or suddenly see how the pieces of a plan fit together. Gemini, your greatest advantage this week is curiosity. Ask questions, make connections, and follow the ideas that refuse to leave you alone. Cancer, this is a powerful week for rebuilding confidence and recognizing exactly what you bring to the table. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, turning your attention toward money, income, possessions, and self-worth. Financial conversations become more important, and you may begin thinking seriously about how your talents could create greater security. Then Mars enters your sign on Tuesday, and suddenly you're ready to move. Your energy, motivation, and determination receive a major boost, making this an excellent time to pursue personal goals or finally take action on something you've been contemplating. You'll also be more assertive than usual, which can be empowering, as long as frustration doesn't turn into unnecessary conflict. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo brings one of the year's most significant turning points around finances and personal value. A new income opportunity, job direction, business idea, or different approach to managing your resources could begin developing over the coming months. But this eclipse isn't only about money. It's also asking whether you've been undervaluing yourself or accepting less than you deserve. By the weekend, Mercury joining Jupiter brings a much more hopeful outlook. A financial idea, conversation, or opportunity could remind you that greater stability is possible. Cancer, this week's lesson is about knowing your worth and having the courage to act accordingly. You're entering a period where believing in your own value could make all the difference. Leo, this is your week, and the universe isn't exactly being subtle about it. Mercury enters your sign on Sunday, sharpening your mind and giving you a stronger voice. Conversations that have been difficult to navigate become easier to approach, and you'll feel increasingly confident about expressing what you want. With the sun already traveling through Leo, you're entering one of the most personally significant periods of your year. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, however, reminding you that not everything needs immediate action. Part of you may want to charge forward, while another part needs rest, reflection, and emotional space. Pay attention to what's happening behind the scenes and don't ignore your intuition. Clearing away old frustrations now creates room for something much more important. Then Wednesday brings the headline event, a powerful solar eclipse in your sign. This represents a major personal reset involving identity, confidence, appearance, goals, or the direction you want your life to take. You may suddenly realize you've outgrown an old version of yourself. You don't need to reinvent your entire life overnight, but pay close attention to what you're being drawn toward now. The choices and realizations surrounding this eclipse could shape the next several months. By Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter in Leo, bringing optimism, bigger ideas, and renewed faith in yourself. A conversation, opportunity, or realization could leave you genuinely excited about what's ahead. Leo, this week marks the beginning of a new chapter. Don't shrink yourself to fit your old life. The universe is encouraging you to grow into the person you're becoming. Virgo, this week asks you to slow down and listen to what's happening beneath the surface. Mercury, your ruling planet, enters Leo on Sunday, turning your attention inward. You may find yourself thinking about unfinished business, old memories, or situations you've never completely resolved. Instead of analyzing everything to death, give yourself some quiet space and allow the answers to emerge naturally. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, bringing fresh energy to friendships, networking, and long-term goals. You may feel motivated to reconnect with people, become involved with a group, or start pursuing an ambition you've put on the back burner. Support can come from unexpected places, so don't assume you have to accomplish everything alone. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo activates one of the most private areas of your chart, making this a powerful period for healing, closure, rest, and releasing the past. Something you've been carrying emotionally may finally be ready to go. Old habits, fears, or self-defeating patterns could become much easier to recognize. Don't rush this process. Sometimes a new beginning starts quietly, long before anyone else can see it. By the weekend, Mercury joining Jupiter can bring an important realization or a sense that something is finally beginning to make sense. Trust what's happening behind the scenes, Virgo. This week isn't asking you to have your entire future mapped out. It's helping you clear enough emotional space so that when your next chapter arrives, you'll actually be ready for it. Libra, your future starts looking considerably more interesting this week. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, energizing friendships, networking, community, and long-term goals. Conversations with friends or professional contacts could spark ideas you hadn't considered before, and someone in your wider circle may prove surprisingly helpful. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, putting serious energy behind your career and ambitions. You may suddenly feel much more determined to make progress professionally, pursue recognition, or prove what you're capable of. This can be excellent for motivation, but avoid unnecessary battles with authority figures. Let your results speak louder than your frustration. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo brings a major new beginning involving friendships, groups, professional networks, or your vision for the future. You may enter a new social circle, begin collaborating with different people, or realize that one of your dreams deserves much more attention. Some relationships may naturally fade as new ones develop, especially if you've outgrown the role you've been playing within a group. By Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter, bringing optimism and encouraging conversations about what's possible next. A friend, colleague, or new connection could introduce an opportunity that expands your world. Libra, don't underestimate the importance of the people entering your life now. One connection could eventually help you reach a goal that once seemed far away. Scorpio, this could be one of the most important career weeks of your year. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, bringing greater attention to your professional life, reputation, and long-term ambitions. You're thinking more seriously about where you're headed, and conversations involving work, leadership, or your next professional move could become increasingly important. Mars, one of your traditional ruling planets, enters Cancer on Tuesday and encourages you to expand beyond familiar territory. Travel, education, publishing, spirituality, or learning something new could suddenly become more appealing. You're being pushed to look beyond what's directly in front of you and consider where you'd like to be several years from now. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo lands at the top of your chart, signaling a potentially significant new chapter involving career, public reputation, achievement, or life direction. A professional opportunity could emerge, responsibilities may change, or you could realize that your current path no longer reflects your ambitions. Don't panic if everything isn't immediately clear. Eclipse developments often unfold over several months. By the weekend, Mercury joining Jupiter brings a surge of confidence and possibility around your future. Encouraging news, recognition, or an ambitious idea could remind you how much you're capable of achieving. Scorpio, this week asks you to stop thinking small. The next chapter of your professional life may be considerably bigger than the one you're leaving behind. Sagittarius, this week speaks your language because the universe is encouraging you to expand your horizons. Mercury enters fellow fire sign Leo on Sunday, awakening your curiosity and making you eager to learn, travel, explore new ideas, or simply break free from the same old routine. Conversations about future plans could suddenly become much more exciting. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, shifting some of your attention toward shared finances, commitments, and deeper emotional connections. You may feel motivated to tackle a debt, organize joint resources, or finally address an issue you've been avoiding. Emotionally, this transit can intensify your reactions, so resist the urge to turn every disagreement into a battle worth winning. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo could open an entirely new chapter involving travel, education, publishing, spirituality, or your overall direction in life. You may decide to study something new, take an important trip, share your knowledge with a wider audience, or reconsider beliefs that no longer fit the person you're becoming. Something that expands your world could begin developing now and continue unfolding over the coming months. By Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter in Leo, ending the week with exactly the kind of optimistic energy Sagittarius loves. A big idea, encouraging conversation, or unexpected opportunity could make the future feel wide open again. Follow your curiosity this week. The road ahead may be taking you somewhere you never expected, and that might be exactly the point. Capricorn, this week asks you to look beneath the surface and deal honestly with the things that can't simply be checked off a to-do list. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, bringing shared finances, investments, debts, taxes, commitments, and emotional intimacy into greater focus. Important conversations about money or trust may finally need your attention. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, energizing your relationship sector and making partnerships considerably more active. Romantic partners, business associates, or even competitors may demand more of your attention. This can bring passion and motivation to relationships, but tempers could also flare. Choose cooperation over turning every disagreement into a contest. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo signals a powerful new beginning involving shared resources, financial arrangements, trust, intimacy, or emotional transformation. You may restructure a financial agreement, tackle debt, deepen an important relationship, or finally release something you've been carrying for far too long. This eclipse is less about controlling the outcome and more about recognizing what needs to change. By the weekend, Mercury joining Jupiter helps you see possibilities where you previously saw obstacles. A productive financial discussion, deeper emotional connection, or new solution to an old problem could emerge. Capricorn, you don't have to carry everything alone. Allowing the right people to support you may actually make you stronger. Aquarius, relationships take center stage this week, and the universe has plenty to say about the people you choose to keep beside you. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, encouraging more open communication in romantic, professional, and personal partnerships. If something needs to be discussed, this is your opportunity to put it on the table. Mars enters Cancer on Tuesday, bringing greater motivation to work, health, and daily routines. You may suddenly become determined to organize your schedule, tackle neglected responsibilities, or improve a habit that's been draining your energy. Just don't try to fix your entire life before lunchtime. Sustainable changes will take you much further. Wednesday's solar eclipse in your opposite sign of Leo marks an important turning point for partnerships. A new relationship could begin, an existing bond may move to another level, or you could redefine what you need from the people closest to you. Business partnerships and collaborations can also shift. Some Aquarians may realize that a relationship has run its course, while others discover they're ready for a much deeper commitment. By Saturday, Mercury joins Jupiter in Leo, bringing optimism and greater understanding to your connections. A conversation could restore faith in someone or introduce you to a person who becomes surprisingly important. Aquarius, independence will always matter to you, but this week reminds you that the right partnership doesn't limit your freedom. It helps you grow. Pisces, this week encourages you to turn good intentions into habits that actually support the life you're trying to create. Mercury enters Leo on Sunday, putting work, organization, health, and everyday responsibilities under the spotlight. You may suddenly see a better way to manage your schedule or solve a problem that's been making daily life unnecessarily complicated. Mars enters fellow water sign Cancer on Tuesday, bringing a much more playful and passionate energy into the picture. Romance, creativity, hobbies, children, and self-expression receive a boost, and you may feel inspired to pursue something simply because it makes you happy. If life has become all responsibility lately, Mars is reminding you that enjoyment matters too. Wednesday's solar eclipse in Leo could initiate an important new chapter involving your work, health, routines, or lifestyle. A job situation may change, a new responsibility could appear, or you may decide it's finally time to create healthier patterns. Rather than attempting a dramatic overnight transformation, focus on the small changes you can realistically maintain. Those are the ones most likely to transform your life over time. By the weekend, Mercury joining Jupiter brings encouragement around work and everyday life. A solution, opportunity, or helpful conversation could make something that once felt overwhelming suddenly seem manageable. Pisces, this week's message is simple. Create a daily life that supports your dreams instead of exhausting you. Small changes now could lead to much bigger improvements later. As we close out this powerful week, remember that eclipses aren't about having all the answers overnight. The solar eclipse in Leo is opening a new chapter around confidence, creativity, relationships, purpose, and having the courage to pursue a life that feels more authentic. Pay attention to the opportunities, conversations, and realizations appearing now because some of them could become much more important over the months ahead. With Mercury and Jupiter coming together in Leo by the weekend, the week ends on a much more hopeful and optimistic note. What initially feels uncertain may begin revealing possibilities you couldn't see before. Keep an open mind, trust your instincts, and don't be afraid to think bigger about what comes next. Sometimes an unexpected change is exactly what creates the opening we've been waiting for. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this week's horoscope, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss your weekly cosmic forecast. Let me know your sign in the comments and whether you're already feeling this week's eclipse energy. Until next time, have an amazing week ahead, and as always, may the stars guide your path.